Mary and Molly, saving one species of bird by killing another, it seems extreme, but experts say the spotted owl, it is in a dire situation, and thinning out the population of a main competitor may be the only way it survives. The barred owl is wearing out its welcome on the West Coast. Native to areas east of the Mississippi, the large raptor started expanding its range and quickly encroached on the habitat of the northern spotted owl, which is a threatened species.
The northern spotted owl is absolutely in crisis.
Bird conservationist Claire Catania reluctantly backs a plan to kill the barred owl where its population overlaps the spotted owl, which in Washington is on the Olympic Peninsula and Yakima Reservation.
Birds Connect Seattle stands from the perspective not that this is a reduction of barred owl populations, but that this is part of our fight to save the northern spotted owl.
Barred owls consistently outcompete the spotted owl by having larger broods and needing less room. Federal wildlife managers want to allow the killing of nearly 500,000 of these birds over the next 30 years. Designated hunters would lure them in to confirm they have the correct species, then blast them with shotguns.
It's been tested to be effective, and we support the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in this preferred alternative.
If the plan is implemented, it would result in the deaths of about 0.5% of the barred owl population. Many say it is a grim balancing act, but one that could give spotted owls their best chance to survive.
We understand the gravity of this decision and are not celebrating in this choice.
Well, along with today's announcement, the Wildlife Service will then publish this plan in the Federal Register, making it official and make it a final decision within the next 30 days. Reporting live, Joel Marino, KOMO News.
U.S. Fish and Wildlife has a plan to save a species of bird, but it would come at the cost of killing barred owls. Mary Nam joins us tonight on the Deep End. Mary, almost 500,000 barred owls would be killed to protect the spotted owls.
That's right, Preston. It's to give them a chance to survive after the barred owls took over their habitat. Tonight, I talked to Joel Marino as the agency opens a month-long comment period about this controversial decision.
Well, they want to take out the spotted owls, one of their main competitors, and that is the barred owl. The barred owl has been kind of taken over the spotted owl habitat for the last few decades. And really, the spotted owl doesn't stand a chance. It's the barred owl is much bigger. It has a lot more babies in its brood. It needs less space to actually, hunt and gather. And so it's pushed this spotted owl out. And so they're hoping to kind of thin the population of barred owls where these two species overlap. And that would mean about nearly 500,000 barred owls being killed.
As far as, that figure, 500,000, how would they regulate this? Where would this happen? Because this type of owl, it's not native to the West Coast. So where would they be going after this owl?
So they're targeting Washington, Oregon, and California. And specifically in Washington, the areas that they're looking at where these two owls share territory, it's the Olympic Peninsula, and then it would be the Yakima Reservation. Barred owls that are living in other parts of Washington would be left alone because spotted owls aren't there, so there's no competition concerns. But yeah, that 500,000 barred owls, it sounds like a huge number, and it is, but it is, we're told, about 0.5% of the total population of barred owls. So, and on the other side of the scales is the spotted owl, which could actually go extinct if, the trends continue the way they are.
Joel, when would this begin? When would this program begin in earnest?
So they'd probably start killing the owls next spring. They just made the public announcement official today. It'll be published in what's called the Federal Register on Friday, and then there's a 30-day waiting period for it to become finalized. But then next spring is when the hunters would start going out. So in the interim, if this does become the final plan, the federal government will be looking to recruit and authorize certain groups. You know, you can't just, not anybody can just go out and start killing barred owls. That's not what this is about. This would be hunters that can show that they've got, you know, the necessary skills, and then they'd have to do it in a certain way. They'd have to lure the owls in with certain calls, certain sounds that they can use with megaphones and other, you know, amplified devices. And because they want those owls to come in so that they can confirm that they've got the right species in their sights before they pull the trigger. And if it is a barred owl, they would use shotguns to kill these birds.
You bring up that point, I mean, of making sure that it is the exact owl that is part of this plan. Essentially, they're just going to open up to private individuals, hunters. Is that the main source of?
Yeah, this will be open to tribes and hunters, and even companies that, you know, kind of specialize in this kind of thing. You know, we've heard about, you know, wolves being hunted down or sea lions, and so there are groups that do this kind of work and go about it in a professional way. And so those would be the ones that would be designated. But there's still a lot of criticism, because even if you try to confirm the species, you could be wrong. You know, you could be killing other animals. And then there's the argument that, you know, by killing barred owls, you'll just allow other barred owls to move into that territory because it's been freed up by the ones that were there already, and it won't really do anything to help spotted owls. But they put years and years of review and study into this, and they think this is their last best option.
Last question, Joel. Is this an open-ended plan, or is this a pilot program?
So they're talking about doing this over the next 30 years. So open-ended, I mean, that's a long span of time, but they're talking about that nearly 500,000 owls being killed over the course of 30 years. It takes time, I'm guessing. I don't really know for sure, but I think it takes time to really assess, you know, the impacts on the environment from, you know, a measure like this, and to really see if the spotted owls can make a comeback, you know, in their coming generations. So I think they've got to give these birds a chance to breed and to grow their populations, these spotted owls, to see if it's actually going to stick.
All right, Joel Marino, thank you very much, Joel.
Thank you, Mary.
Mary, will this be the first time barred owls will be killed to protect the spotted owl?
Well, barred owls are already being killed in California and the Sierra Nevadas, where the barred owls are starting to take over spotted owl habitat. So Fish and Wildlife says about 4,000 have been removed there since 2009.
Wow, interesting.